Hey guys, Coach Tom again. This is now lesson 3 of our beginner forehand ground stroke series. Hopefully by now you guys have watched lesson 1 and lesson 2. If you haven't, I really think you should. Even if you feel you guys are ready to hit a more advanced forehand, you're like, I'm kind of a beginner, but I just need watch those other 2 videos because they give you a lot of theory, a lot of discussion on some of the terms that we need to know, some of the things that I like to teach, what's important, what's not. So it's a good idea to watch those, even if you think you're ready for this shot. Just go back and breeze through them real quickly. Okay, so today we're back on the baseline, okay, back of the court. We're ready to take that full court rally. As we talked about in lesson 2, you've got more court to hit to, but you've also got more court to cover. So we've got to get a little bit more power on our shots, a little bit more height on that ball to get it back deeper into the court. And there's a couple other things we've got to think about as well when we're this far back. The first of those things is our recovery. What I like to teach what's called integrated recovery. And all that means is that we're going to integrate or include our recovery in our swing, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And then the other one is just, we're going to talk a little bit about aim and directional control. Not too much, but a little bit. Okay, so as with everything you're going to hear me say here, footwork. Let's just leave it at that. Move your feet. I promise you it will help. I promise you it makes a difference, okay? But the big thing we're talking about today is really that integrated recovery. We want to make sure that you guys are recovering as a part of your swing. The reason for that is that we want to understand, look, the ball's probably going to come back. You guys are playing now against people who can hit the ball. So it's going to come back, and you guys want to make sure that you're ready for that, right? You want to get back into position before that ball is on you, okay? So we'll kind of look at this camera here, but if I run out, boom, I hit a shot, I want to get back here into the middle of the court so that I'm ready for what's coming back. What ends up happening more often than not, that looks pretty cool. Oh crap, right? So what ends up happening is we go out and we hit a shot, we stand there and we watch it, wondering what's going to happen, wondering what's going on, or maybe just admiring the shot that we just hit, and then we go, oh, wait a minute, they hit the ball back, and we're scrambling and we're running and we're pulled off balance one side or the other, and that's obviously not good because our next shot isn't going to be as effective, okay? So integrated recovery, that's really what we're trying to do. I'm trying to add the recovery into the actual swing so that when we get back in a position, we're ready, balanced, and ready to go for that next shot. Okay, so when we did lesson 1, it was turn, step, swing. Well, now it's kind of like turn, move, step, swing, recover. Okay, so there's actually more pieces involved in this, and you've really only got about a second and a half to do those because you're going to hit the ball and it's going to come back, and it doesn't really take that long. Okay, so if I've got ready position, right, if we were in lesson 1, ready position just kind of here, right? Level 2 maybe was a little bit more active, right? Maybe a little bit of, you don't have to stick your tongue out like I do, but you know, a little bit more active here. Okay, level 3, this lesson 3, our footwork, our ready position, we really got to have that up and running kind of jump rope step to it, okay? So we're going to have good ready position, good active ready position before we do anything. Okay, then once we've got that good active ready position, I'm here, I'm going to turn, move, hit, and recover. Okay, and if you guys notice, there's not a lot of running. I'm not turning, running, hitting, turning, running. That ain't how it works out here. You have no idea what's going to go on, right? So we're going to turn, shuffle, 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 adjust, hit, recover back with a good shuffle, eyes, body, everything facing towards my opponent. Okay, so practice that. There's really not a whole lot to teach you about that. You just have to make sure that you keep it in your head, hey, I've got to recover and get back. Okay, for now, let's just say the middle of the court. You got this little hash mark down here. For now, let's just say the middle of the court. That's where I want you guys to get back. That'll change as our level progresses. The thing to remember about that, though, is that you don't always get back to the middle. You may actually not have time. And what I mean by that is if I run out, right, I'm here, I hit my shot, I recover, I may not be able to get back to where I need to be, the center of the court where that other camera is. I may not be able to get back there. And the reason for that could be that my opponent's at the net, maybe I hit the ball a little bit harder, they hit it a little bit harder, but you gotta stop and balance yourself before your opponent hits the ball, okay? You can't be running and chasing the ball, running and coming back to the middle of the court as they hit the ball, because the ball, it just doesn't work. You've gotta stop and balance yourself right before they hit the ball, okay? So yes, I want you to recover, but only as far as you can get before they hit the ball, right? And then it's not, okay, we don't stop and plant, right? We want to, okay, stop. So it basically might look like this. I might come all the way over here, hit my shot. I might only get to here, right? I might not get back to where I want to be, but that's fine, right? I hit my shot, boom, I recover, okay, I'm here, and then I move again, okay? Okay, so that's it. Make sure you guys are recovering. Make sure you're getting stopped and balanced before your opponent hits the ball so that you're in a good position to move to that next shot. Okay, now the other piece of this I wanted to cover a little bit was placement, right? Let's actually back up. Let's show you the difference between our different swings, okay? So you've got, again, we're going to assume I've already turned. I want to show you guys the length, the size, because again, that's all we're doing. We're just adding a little bit of length to our backswing, a little bit of length to our follow through, and then maybe tinkering with your string position, again, based on how high that ball needs to go. Little piece about that. It may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but as you start swinging a little bit harder, that string position may actually have to close, right? We're a little bit further back, but we may have to close that string position. And again, close means lean it forwards. We may have to close that string position a little bit just because we're swinging a little bit bigger now, right? So if I've got really wide open strings and I swing really hard, that ball's gonna launch on me. So I may actually have to close those strings a little bit, or I can adjust my swing path, which is basically where it starts to where it finishes, okay? So assume I've already turned. Here's my level one, lesson one, right? Just this little guy right here. Lesson two might be a little bit bigger, right? And then lesson three, we're here and we're here. Now, if you notice, a little bit bigger swing, a little bit bigger backswing, a little bit bigger follow through, but you also notice if I take all of that away, here's level one, here's level two, and then here's level three. So there's a weight transfer involved. That step becomes a little bit bigger each time, and what that does is it gives me a little bit more length. Remember we talked about that linear swing in lesson two. It gives me a little bit more length through the ball, which means I've got a bigger contact zone, a bigger hitting zone, and it gives me a little bit more pop without having to swing bigger, right? We don't want our swing to be bigger because that reduces our consistency. But if I can step in and get a little bit more pop on the ball, that's gonna help me out. And that actually helps us with our placement, with our aim, our directional control. I want you guys to think about your hip and your shoulder, okay? So hips and shoulders, that's gonna help determine where the ball goes. If I basically just hold my arm out to the side, okay? Wherever I turn, that's where the ball is likely to go. Now, again, there are multiple factors that go into this. This is just a basic beginner. This is kind of the initial theory on how this all works, but hips and shoulders will determine to a degree where that ball goes, okay? Now, if I'm standing like this and I just slap at the ball, that's not gonna help. We actually have to turn, get set up, and move through that shot, okay? So if I'm hitting a ball and I wanna go over here towards my car, okay? Or I wanna go over there, wherever I wanna go, I can't just, I think you guys can probably see that's not gonna work, right? Okay, I wanna turn my hips and my shoulders towards where I want that ball to go. So here, I might back up a little bit, but I'm actually pretty good. I can be here, boom. I can move that ball where I want it to go. So I actually have to also get behind the ball, line up my hips and my shoulders there. What gets a little tricky is a lot of players will forget the lining up part. They'll forget the hips and the shoulders, right? So if I've got that same shot here, but I want to hit it this way, a lot of players will just do this, right? And they'll just kind of slap at it, or they'll reach out and they'll try to do this. We've talked about that. Angular swings, slappy stuff, it's not going to work, right? So if I want to hit this same ball, right, if I want to hit it this way, I'm good. But if I want to hit it completely the opposite way, I actually have to back up, come over here, line up my hips and shoulders, and move through to that point of contact, okay? So that shot, it's all footwork again, right? So I'm here. If I want to hit this way, boom, I turn, I step towards my target. If I want to hit it that way, I get around it, step towards my target that way, okay? So that's the real basic stuff on aim and direction. Hips and shoulders, but also make sure that you guys get behind the ball and move where you actually want it to go. It doesn't have to be a big move, just enough to kind of get you guys going in that direction. Okay, so guys, that's it. Let's recap our level 1, level 2, and level 3 forehands. I'll just hit a couple for you. It's basic stuff. We're just making our swing and our movement and our activity, our engagement and energy level just a little bit bigger each time, okay? So here's our level 1. Here's our level 2. And here's our level 3. Okay, so all we're doing is we're making the swing a little bit bigger. We're adding some footwork, we're adding some integrated recovery into it on this lesson. In lesson 2, we were talking more about that linear versus angular swing, but in the end, the swings are pretty similar. Okay, so don't get carried away. Make sure you guys do the first one, then do the second one, then do this one. You don't want to come out here and hit 10 balls and spray 10 of them all over the place, or spray 9 of them all over the place and make one in the court and be like, yay, it's not going to work. You're not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to feel confident. So start small, work your way back. Tennis, especially learning tennis, is about progressions, okay? Start small, work your way up. If I were to take a calculus problem to a 3rd grader or a 2nd grader, they don't even know what it is, right? They haven't learned how to add and subtract and multiply. You got to learn the basic stuff, the basic tools, in order to build upon those additional and bigger and greater and more effective skills, right? So learn this stuff, and then we'll back up, we'll give you guys some more. Okay, so by the end of this lesson in this series, you guys, we should have a pretty good understanding of the forehand, some of the theory that I teach in terms of consistency, reducing unforced errors, all of that good stuff, probably what I feel about hitting with power. You should feel pretty confident with your swing, at least in terms of just getting it into the court and being comfortable rallying. And that's really what we want. We want you guys to be comfortable rallying the ball, right? This is supposed to be fun. That's why we're here. We're not going pro. We're not playing Division I tennis anytime soon. We're just looking to have something that we can do that's fun, gives us a little bit of exercise, helps us socialize a little bit, okay? So practice this stuff, and by the time you're done with these 3 lessons, I think you should have that, okay? So remember, I'm your coach, but you guys have got to let me know what you like, what you don't like, what works and what doesn't work, okay? And the only way you can do that is by sending me your comments, your questions, your thoughts, all that good stuff, okay? So make sure you guys, let's interact, talk with me, so that we can work on this and build this game and build the enjoyment of this game together. I think that's it. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time.